want to only have one aura set, typically at a time. So we're going to say he has a light spell, which gives him a hex sword of awesomeness. If I can type today. Description: kills all enemies. Damage dice is how much damage it does. Max is you can do bonus damage on a crit if your weapon does extra damage. If it's a high crit weapon, for example. Damage type if it happens to have a damage type. The critical threshold. Bonus enhancement. So maybe it's Sword of Awesomeness +1 because it needs to be. The bonus proficiency is the proficiency spelled out in the handbook, as is the range. So you click OK, and then I would go to Weapons and Implements, and then I would click Equip a Weapon or Implement. This will open up a box, which you may or not be recording, and there you go, you should be able to see it now. Sword of Awesomeness +1, OK, and it'll equip that, and if there are any different rolls, it would affect all of my roll modifiers. So let's end that right there. One last thing I want to cover about character tokens before we go and talk about maps a little bit is how to do the most important part, which is to set up the token to look awesome. So I'm going to open up my buddy here, Patron, and then right-click it. Hopefully you'll now be able to see the screen. And what you'll see, and we're going to label him as awesome. And hopefully now you're definitely in the screen here with me. And what you'll see is that there's here where the token is with the border. There's the portrait field, and then there's the layout field. The field in the upper right with the small plus next to it, that's where you can put an image in. You can either drop an image in there. You can use Token Tool, which is part of RP Tools, and that will allow you to create a token save it as an image and then drag it in there. Or you can just drag an image of your choice in there if you're in a hurry. And that will be what's shown on the map. The portrait is where the pop-up appears. So that's when we mouse over a character, what you see. Handout is a handout. We're not really using that in this framework. But there is, for other game derps, there is a program called Character Creator, which will allow you to create a sheet of, and there's a few different options in there, and so you can drag a handout in there and just make your life easier. Also in here is owner. So in this case, only the player test can, in addition to the Dungeon Master obviously, can move this character, so that goes back to the strict ownership we talked about earlier. Speech, don't worry about that. State, these are the same. The extra thing here is Surge, hide health. So those small bars above the characters, if you want to hide those, you can click those to make them not visible. Really, it doesn't matter too much, but whatever. And then if you want to put in any notes, you can put a note in the note field, and that'll make a note there. So this is actually available in all the tabs. In NPC, as a Dungeon Master, you would use that. Okay, that's the last major thing for tokens until we get to Light and Vision and maps. So to do Light and Vision, I've cheated and I've created a map already called Topology. So you'll notice I've already got a token over here. We'll move him back here a little bit. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. And what you'll see is right now we're in Dungeon Master view. Or excuse me, we're character view. In Dungeon Master view, you can see everywhere where there is light and a token has visibility to it. So if we go to view as show as player, and then I click on this guy, what you'll see is, because there's a door up here, I can't see anything. Now the other thing you notice is that there's a rather random path that I've set up here. As I mentioned before, Fog of War does not auto-reveal. So let's say this guy walked over here for some reason, and I wanted to show Fog of War. If I press Control-O, P, excuse me, it'll show the path that he's taken. Obviously, we moved a lot of steps there. And then, now, Fog of War is shared among all characters, but Vision is not. So, I'm going to go back to my other map here real quick. Back to Grasslands, and we'll grab Mr. Awesome Sauce here. So we're just going to copy, and then we're going to go to our topology map here, and paste. Oops, put them slightly out of view. Now you notice Awesome Sauce, he doesn't have a little white square around him, so he can't actually see anything because he has no light. So what we're going to do is go on his character sheet here. We're going to go set up lights and auras. And this opens up a pop-up window, which you probably can't see in this recording. Bright lights, dim lights, and auras.